What if I told you that discipline isn't about motivation, that it has nothing to do with how you feel? Most people think they fail because they're lazy, but that's a lie. The real reason? They don't have a system. Picture this. Two people wake up at 6 a.m. One hits snooze, scrolls through social media, and drags themselves out of bed an hour later, already behind on the day. The other? They wake up, follow a simple morning routine, and by the time most people are still waking up, they've already crushed their most important task. Now, here's the secret. The difference between these two people isn't willpower. It's not genetics. It's not luck. It's a set of rules. Rules that make discipline effortless. And once you learn them, you'll never struggle with procrastination or self-control again. Stay with me because by the end of this, you'll have a step-by-step blueprint to master discipline, dominate your day, and finally become the person who gets things done, no matter what. Discipline isn't what you think it is. Most people believe it's about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. They think disciplined people wake up every day feeling unstoppable, full of motivation, and ready to grind. But that's not the truth. The truth? Discipline is about removing the need for motivation entirely. It's about setting up your life in a way that makes success the default option. Think of it like this. If you had to push a heavy boulder up a hill every day, you'd get exhausted, right? But what if the road was designed to help you roll the boulder downhill instead? Suddenly, the effort required drops to almost nothing. That's exactly how high-performance people operate. Let's look at a real-life example. Think about someone like Elon Musk or Michael Jordan. Do you think they rely on motivation to show up every day? They've built habits and systems so strong that skipping isn't even an option. But here's the problem. Most people try to build discipline the wrong way. They rely on sheer willpower, which always runs out. That's why they start strong but fall off after a few days or weeks. The good news? There's a better way. In this video, I'll show you the exact system that makes discipline automatic. You'll learn how to remove distractions, lock in habits that stick, and take control of your time without relying on motivation. And once you master this, you'll never struggle with self-discipline again. Let's get started. Most people believe that discipline is about sheer willpower, the ability to push through no matter what. They think successful people wake up every day overflowing with motivation, effortlessly crushing their goals. But that's not reality. The truth is, willpower is weak. It's unreliable. And if you're depending on it, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself you'd wake up early, only to hit snooze when the alarm rings? How often have you planned to eat healthy, only to grab junk food because it was easier? It's not because you're lazy, it's because willpower is like a battery. It drains throughout the day. The more decisions you make, the harder it gets to resist temptation. Here's a harsh truth. The people who succeed at discipline don't rely on willpower. They build systems that make failure almost impossible. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two people trying to lose weight. One stocks their kitchen with junk food but tells themselves they'll resist the temptation. The other removes all unhealthy food from their home, so their only option is to eat healthy. Who do you think will win? This is why decision fatigue is the silent killer of discipline. Every time you have to choose between the easy path and the right path, you use up mental energy. That's why by the end of the day, people fall into bad habits. They've spent all day making choices, so when it's time to hit the gym, they say, "I'll do it tomorrow." When it's time to work on a side project, they say, "I'm too tired." The most disciplined people don't give themselves the option to fail. They eliminate the need for decision-making. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, not because he liked turtlenecks, but because he understood that fewer decisions meant more mental energy for what actually mattered. Athletes follow strict routines, not because they love waking up early, but because removing the choice makes it automatic. This is where most people go wrong. They think they need more willpower when, in reality, they need fewer choices. They don't realize that motivation isn't the problem. Having too many decisions is. That's why habits and systems are more powerful than willpower. Here's something even more interesting. Studies have shown that people who consider themselves to have strong willpower are actually more likely to fail. Why? Because they overestimate their ability to resist temptation. They leave their phones next to them while studying, thinking they'll stay focused. They keep cookies in the pantry, telling themselves they won't eat them, but they always do, because eventually willpower breaks. So if willpower isn't the answer, what is? Structure, automation. Setting up your life in a way where discipline isn't a battle, it's a default. The goal isn't to wake up every day forcing yourself to be productive. The goal is to remove the things that make productivity difficult in the first place. This is the real secret of discipline. It's not about pushing harder. It's about making the right actions effortless. Once you understand that, you stop depending on motivation and you start designing a life where discipline happens automatically. And that changes everything. Your brain has a limited amount of energy each day. The more decisions you make, the faster that energy drains. This is why people wake up with big plans, but by evening, they're ordering takeout, skipping workouts, and wasting hours on their phones. It's not about motivation. It's about decision fatigue. The more choices you have to make, the harder it becomes to stay disciplined. Now, think about the most productive people in the world. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day, not because he didn't care about fashion, but because eliminating small decisions freed up his mental energy for more important things. Athletes follow strict routines, not because they love structure, but because it removes the decision of whether or not to train. The most disciplined people don't think about what they're doing next, they just do it. If you want to master discipline, you need a system that removes unnecessary choices from your day. Start with your mornings. Most people wake up, grab their phones, and immediately start scrolling, wasting mental energy before they even get out of bed. Instead, make your morning routine automatic. Lay out your clothes the night before, plan your breakfast in advance, set your most important task for the day before you go to sleep. If you remove the need to decide, you remove the opportunity to fail. Here's the real game changer. Automate the things that matter. If you want to work out consistently, don't decide every morning whether you'll go. Set a rule. Every day at 7 a.m. you're at the gym. No excuses, no decisions. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower. Remove junk food from your house so you don't have to resist it. If you want to stay off social media, delete the apps from your phone so checking them isn't even an option. Now, what if I told you there was a way to make discipline completely effortless? A trick that forces you into action without needing motivation. That's where triggers come in. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to remind yourself to do it. It just happens automatically. Why? Because it's tied to another habit, waking up. Your brain connects one action to the next, and before you know it, it's automatic. This is exactly how you build discipline. If you want to create a new habit, attach it to something you already do. Let's say you want to read more. Instead of telling yourself, I need to read for 30 minutes a day, attach it to an existing routine. Every time I drink coffee, I read 1 page. If you want to work out consistently, make it impossible to ignore. Lay out your gym clothes next to your bed so the first thing you see in the morning is a reminder to move. If you want to drink more water, keep a full glass next to your laptop so you don't even have to think about it. Here's the secret. Your brain loves patterns. The more you link habits together, the easier discipline becomes. But there's one more trick that makes this work even faster. Most people fail at discipline because they try to do too much at once. They say, I'll work out for an hour every day, or I'll write 1,000 words a day, and then they burn out. But the hardest part of any habit isn't doing it. It's starting. That's why the 2-minute rule is so powerful. The 2-minute rule is simple. Whatever habit you're trying to build, start with just 2 minutes. Want to exercise? Just put on your shoes. Want to write a book? Just write 1 sentence. Want to meditate? Just sit down and close your eyes. That's it. Once you start, you'll almost always keep going. Because the hardest part isn't the work, it's overcoming the resistance to begin. Think about it. Have you ever told yourself, I'll just check my phone for a second, and then 30 minutes disappear? The same thing happens with productive habits. If you tell yourself, I'll just go to the gym for 2 minutes, you're not going to leave after 2 minutes. You'll stay and finish the workout. The key is to lower the barrier to entry so much that it's impossible to say no. Once you make starting effortless, discipline becomes automatic. But there's one final piece to mastering discipline, the secret that makes it stick forever. Most people try to build discipline by forcing themselves to take action. They tell themselves, I need to wake up early, or I need to start working out, but they struggle to stay consistent. Why? Because they're trying to change their actions without changing how they see themselves. That's why discipline feels like a battle, because in their minds, they're still the kind of person who sleeps in or skips workouts. Want to know the real secret? You don't just do disciplined things, you become a disciplined person. Instead of saying, I'm trying to wake up early, tell yourself, I am the kind of person who wakes up early. Instead of saying, I should go to the gym, say, I am the kind of person who never skips the gym. This might sound small, but it changes everything. When discipline is tied to your identity, it stops being something you force yourself to do and becomes something you just are. Think about it. A smoker trying to quit will struggle if they keep saying, I'm trying to stop smoking. But if they say, I'm not a smoker, they've already won. Their identity has shifted, and their actions will follow. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, explains this concept perfectly. The most powerful way to change your behavior is to change the way you see yourself. If you believe you are disciplined, your actions will reflect that belief. Your brain hates being in conflict with your identity. If you see yourself as someone who always follows through, your brain will push you to act in alignment with that. The best part? There's a simple way to lock this in permanently. Every time you take action, you reinforce your identity. If you wake up early just one time, you give your brain proof. See? I am the kind of person who does this. If you show up to the gym even for 5 minutes, you reinforce the belief, I'm an athlete. Each small win strengthens your new identity, making discipline effortless over time. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. Most people start too big. They try to go from 0 to working out 6 days a week, and when they fail, they tell themselves, I knew I wasn't disciplined. But real change happens through small, repeated wins. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to prove to yourself over and over that you are the kind of person who takes action. Once you make this mindset shift, discipline stops feeling like something you have to chase. It becomes who you are. And when that happens, success becomes inevitable. If you wait until the moment to decide whether you'll be disciplined, you've already lost. Your brain will always take the easy way out when given the chance. That's why people tell themselves they'll wake up early but hit snooze instead. It's why they plan to work out after work but end up on the couch. They aren't lazy. They just haven't made success inevitable. But what if I told you there was a way to guarantee discipline? A trick so powerful that skipping your habits would feel more painful than doing them. It's called pre-commitment. And it's the reason some people seem to have unshakable discipline while others struggle. Pre-commitment means locking yourself into action before your brain has the chance to talk you out of it. The easiest way? Attach real consequences to failure. Let's say you want to work out every morning. If it's just a vague plan in your head, you'll find excuses. But if you tell a friend, if I skip my workout, I'll send you $50, guess what? You won't skip. The pain of losing money outweighs the comfort of sleeping in. This works for anything. Want to stop wasting time on your phone? Hand it to a friend before you start working. Want to build a reading habit? Join a book club where you're expected to finish a book each week. Want to wake up early? Put your alarm across the room so you have to get out of bed. The trick is to create a situation where the easiest choice is the one that moves you forward. Now, here's something most people don't realize. The best way to stay disciplined is to eliminate the need for discipline. The less temptation you have around you, the less willpower you need. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If junk food is in your house, you will eat it. If Netflix is open on your laptop, you will watch it. So what's the solution? Remove the option entirely. Make failure impossible. If you can't focus because of your phone, put it in another room. If you want to eat healthy, don't buy junk food in the first place. If you want to be more productive, block distracting websites. The fewer decisions you have to make, the easier discipline becomes. And here's where everything ties together. When you combine pre-commitment with removing temptations, discipline stops being something you struggle with. It becomes automatic. The hardest part of any good habit is getting started, but when you pre-commit, you force yourself into action. When you remove temptations, you eliminate distractions before they can derail you. This is why some people seem to have unlimited discipline. It's not because they're stronger, it's because they've set up their environment so they don't have to rely on willpower. And once you do the same, you'll never have to struggle with self-control again. Every successful person has one thing in common: a strict morning routine. They don't start their day by reacting to notifications or scrolling social media. They don't let distractions set the tone for the day. Instead, they take control from the moment they wake up. And there's one golden rule they all follow. They never start the day with their phone. The moment you grab your phone in the morning, you lose control. Your brain gets flooded with messages, social media updates, and distractions before you've even had a chance to focus on yourself. You're immediately reacting instead of acting. And once you start your day in reaction mode, it's almost impossible to break free. But here's what successful people do instead. Instead of reaching for their phone, they follow a structured morning routine designed to put them in control. If you want to dominate your day, follow this exact sequence. Wake up immediately. No snooze button. The longer you stay in bed, the harder it gets to start your day. Hydrate. Your body is dehydrated after hours of sleep. A full glass of water wakes you up faster than coffee. Move. You don't need a full workout. Even 2 minutes of stretching or push-ups will jumpstart your energy. Set your daily goal. Before you check emails, before you open social media, decide on your number one priority for the day. What's the one thing that, if completed, would make today a success? Attack the hardest task first. Most people start with small, easy tasks. That's a mistake. The first thing you do in the morning sets the momentum for your entire day. If you tackle your hardest, most important task first, everything else feels easier. Now, if you think waking up early is impossible, there's a trick to make it effortless. Most people struggle to get up because they decide in the moment whether they should wake up or not. That's the mistake. You should never give yourself the option. Here's the hack. Move your alarm across the room. Make yourself physically get out of bed to turn it off. Once you're standing, you're far less likely to go back to sleep. And if you want to take it to the next level, pre-commit the night before. Lay out your clothes, prepare your workspace, and decide exactly what you'll do first thing in the morning. The less thinking required, the easier it becomes. This is how you win the day before it even starts. Your morning determines your momentum. If you control the first hour, you control everything that follows. And once you master this, discipline stops being something you struggle with. It becomes something you own. Most people fail at discipline because they start too big. They go from never working out to trying to hit the gym 6 days a week. They decide to wake up at 5 a.m. but burn out after a few days. They try to overhaul their entire life overnight, and when they miss a day, they give up completely. But real discipline isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. And the most powerful rule to guarantee long-term success? No 0 days. A 0 day is when you do absolutely nothing toward your goal. The rule is simple. Never let that happen. Even if you can only do 5% of your task, it still counts. If you can't do a full workout, do 1 push-up. If you don't have time to write 1,000 words, write 1 sentence. If you can't meditate for 10 minutes, sit still and breathe for 30 seconds. Why does this work? Because momentum matters more than intensity. If you miss 1 day, fine. But if you miss 2, that's the start of a habit. It becomes easier to justify skipping the next one, and before you know it, you're back to square one. Think of discipline like a chain. Every action strengthens the link. Skipping one day is a weak spot, but skipping 2 days in a row, that's when the chain starts to break. This is why consistency beats intensity. The person who works out 3 times a week for a year will always be in better shape than the person who trains hard for a month and quits. The writer who writes 1 page a day will finish a book. The entrepreneur who makes progress every single day will outlast the one who burns out from overworking. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to never quit completely. If you can just show up, even at 10% effort, you stay in the game. And if you stay in the game, you'll eventually win. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's not about motivation. It's about removing decisions and setting yourself up for success before you even start. The people who seem effortlessly disciplined aren't stronger than you. They just have systems that make discipline automatic. When you shift your identity and start seeing yourself as a disciplined person, everything changes. Instead of saying, "I need to wake up early," you say, "I'm the kind of person who wakes up early." Instead of saying, "I need to be productive," you say, "I'm the kind of person who gets things done." And once you combine that with pre-commitment, locking yourself into action before your brain has the chance to talk you out of it, you remove the struggle entirely. But the most important piece? No 0 days. Even if you can only do a small part of your habit, it still counts. Never miss twice. That's how you build long-term discipline without burning out. Now, you have the exact formula. You know how to remove distractions, lock in habits, and make discipline effortless. The only question is, will you use it? If you found this helpful, subscribe for more life-changing strategies, or check out this next video to level up even further.